Hey everyone, Kevin here. I've been meaning to make this particular episode for quite a while, but finding the right way to approach it has taken some serious thought on my part. The issue of gender discrimination in teaching. We've all experienced it, and it is one of the multitude of reasons why I chose to leave the profession. But the point I wanted to get at here was really just to call attention to why this occurs in the first place and the effect that it has had on education as a whole. And it isn't pretty. To start off with, though, from the early days of education, teaching was characteristically seen as a female dominated profession. In fact, I believe the figure is that somewhere around 77% of teachers are still, in fact, women. Sexism led to years of women being treated unfairly and feeling like they did not have a voice or reasonable accommodations. I mean, what did teachers pay, for instance? It has been low for 50 years compared to the average of people with commensurate levels of education and experience. That has never been a major reason why teachers have left the profession, but it has always been the one that has led to strikes. Why has it been so low forever, though? Well, again, considering that women were always the dominant in the profession, it was unfortunately seen as easy to pay them less. The gender pay gap still exists in many places, though thankfully it's being rectified in a lot of places now. But pay still remains low for the profession as a whole, and it started due to that sexism. Furthermore, women have only recently been given accommodations for breastfeeding too. I have seen and heard from so many fellow educators who struggled with not being able to pump when they needed to. It was a constant battle, and with the sub shortage and overall strain of working hours that have led to teachers not being able to even go to the bathroom all day, there was never time for our pregnant or nursing colleagues to do what they needed to. It was and is unfair. I've even heard horror stories just within the last year from female teachers who left the profession that they quit because of how badly they were treated for being pregnant or for nursing. I remember one even said that her principal genuinely told her, "When you are at work, you should be teaching. Lactate on your own time." And I could not believe that. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't point out that this cuts both ways, too. And we need to be honest that men also suffer from constant gender discrimination in teaching, too. I suffer terribly from it myself, and it was a major reason why I left. Now, why did I leave because of it? Well, number one, male teachers are easy targets for false accusations. I was repeatedly accused of being inappropriate with students, and there was never any evidence to back it up. Not one. I was even placed on leave once for 3 weeks during an investigation that once again turned up absolutely nothing. I had multiple meetings throughout my career about concerns, female students saying that I did X, Y, and Z, but even though I had documentation every time to back me up, it never mattered. I was always treated as the enemy by female administrators who simply took the accusations at face value, regardless of the fact that every single one was from a student who was failing my class and clearly did it to get back at me for it. I even did my master's thesis on the disproportionate number of false accusations against male teachers and how we are treated as guilty until proven innocent. There was plenty of evidence to back it up too, and my female professors said there wouldn't be originally because men aren't mistreated in education, and I proved them wrong because the research exists. Number two, every single time I dealt with these kinds of problems, my female colleagues never backed me up. Not once. No woman ever turned up to defend me, and the only time I ever had a union rep show up to help was when they were male. The last time this kind of thing happened was a few weeks before I quit, actually. We were taking pictures of our classes for next year's recruitment materials, and all the female teachers were completely allowed to. While when I took a few snapshots for the same recruitment materials, multiple people said that it was inappropriate somehow, and we had this whole meeting about it. I couldn't take it anymore, and I popped off at my principal, saying that there was a double standard for what was acceptable for women and men at the school. They couldn't argue about it really because they knew I was right. they just shut me down instead. Number 3, adding on top of that is the idea of male teachers being seen as effeminate for choosing a female-dominated career, especially in the elementary grades. Many male students don't have good role models these days, and persecuting men has only led to more of them being isolated and unable to relate to some of their teachers. Now, I have been going for a while here, but all of this leads to teachers feeling discriminated against just for their gender. And I never even got into the issue of transgender teachers either who don't identify as male or female. And that's an entirely different conversation. But here, overall, what I'm trying to say is we degrade the profession by doing this because both men and women feel put down by a system designed to keep them in a lower status than everyone else, despite teachers being one of the most important roots of our society. In the end, it is yet another reason why teaching has been slowly dying. And we need to acknowledge both the fact that this problem still exists and that it still exists for everyone, not just one gender. It was a significant factor to why my mental health was so bad toward the end, and I know how many careers of both men and women that it has ruined. And as always, I am here to help you move past this if you need the help. See you next time.